This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. So welcome to this episode 24. Can you imagine 24 weeks ago? Well, actually, it's a little bit longer because we decided to get pissed one night about 10 days before we started the show. So just over 25 weeks ago, 6 months ago, us lot decided this would be a good idea for a show and a podcast. How wrong we were. But we're still here after all of that time. There's no getting rid of us one little bit. Welcome, everybody. Sam, Chris, Phil, hi. Say hi.
Hola.
Hola.
Hola. It's like Celebrity Squares where you all wave at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah. Happy anniversary. I apologize I wasn't included in the first month.
Phil, there is no need to apologize. We'll just take it out on your body later. That's all.
Yeah, fair enough.
Although, actually, wasn't the USA represented in our very first show with Mr. Roy Monk?
Yeah, and interesting as since I've come on, he's been basically MIA.
Yeah, he has been very absent. Either you've killed him and buried him in the deserts of Nevada somewhere, or he's a little bit afraid of going up against you in a show and a podcast.
That's what it is. There's no way I'm going to get myself on the first Ask the Station, so I'm going to go on the second one.
I didn't think you'd admit on public TV to doing the first one. Anyway, guys, how are we doing?
All right, Michael.
Sam's looking good up there. Sam, it's been a while, mate.
Yeah, it has, and it's been fantastic not being on the show, so I get to rejuvenate and whatnot. But, seriously. Well, it wasn't fair that my daughter could take it. It wasn't fair that my daughter.
Hang on. Coming from Las Vegas, there's a rumble going bleh, 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 bleh. And Las Vegas has gone black. So back to Malta.
Yes, I was saying before you went to Vegas that I had to sort of give over the reins a little bit because Melissa, my daughter, keeps just hogging the show every time. So
that is true.
So do so.
Is she there again, man?
Yeah, she's got her stash ready for tonight.
Yeah,
she's got her peanut butter and Nutella.
Oh right. I thought she was recording you while you were recording her on the show.
No. So
but it does go bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. So basically, it's just been
the Ramage family.
It's been really, really hectic with work and stock control and stock taking time of season, and with everything going on, with COVID and all that. So it's been absolutely manic. In fact, I just finished a 15-hour shift today up in Gozo, with very little sleep.
You know that we don't care because this is a rugby show.
No, I know that. Yeah. So bash on anyway. He does a flying fuck.
Just for the record, Sam, one of us does care.
But nobody's going to ask Mike how he is. So Phil, how's the shoulder, mate? You okay, bud?
Thank you, Sam, for asking because I think we should just take this over. We're recuperating, buddy. I almost got into a fight Friday night, and here I am in a sling. I'm about to take out this little punk who thought he was going to intimidate me. And that's a whole other story. At a stop, taught him a little physical lesson.
Was that you swedging for Vegas? Was it?
I tell you, a little ticked off I was.
I swear it was the other shoulder last week that you were rubbing, though.
Anyway, Sam, what's happening over in Malta with rugby, mate? Because we're all in different stages, aren't we?
Oh, mate, it's amazing. I'll tell you exactly what's happening with rugby in Malta at the moment. No, zero. Basically, we've just agreed that we're at stage 2 out of 6 stages, and stage 2 is literally right now is touch rugby within clubs. We're looking to get involved as referees at stage 3, where it becomes like a 5v5 type touch rugby.
Don't they all play at the same club?
No, man, there's like 5 or 6 individual clubs.
They play different clubs, but they all play at the same venue.
No. They have their own training grounds, so they train at different grounds, don't they? Because they have their own training grounds.
What they do is form a single club for the next few months, so that they all can go play as a scrimmage against each other.
So that's exactly where we're at. But I mean, I'll be really, really surprised if we have any kind of season at all. As of Sunday, we were the highest cases again, 78 cases on Sunday. And I know that sounds like very little, but it's actually very high for Malta.
No, one of the things that's happened over here is that we've moved to what's called stage D, which means we can do this ready for rugby, whatever that is, game, which is confusing an awful lot of people. But thank you to the RFU and everybody for trying to invent a new game. But we are in the time where we can play what is described as normal touch rugby. So that's really good. And in fact, the Saturday just gone was the first day that clubs can do that. As long as they're staying within their own club, that works. And there's been many, many clubs that have had 50 to 100 people out there doing this, and that's wonderful for the game. But it is a journey, isn't it? And we've just got to do what we need to do. It's not like we're professional rugby players in the community. But Phil, things are slightly different over in the US, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, I mean, we have several places that have had touch rugby. Youth rugby is starting up in 5 or 6 states, right? They've been playing rugby in Alaska all summer, and some youth. And in this past weekend, there was a TENS tournament up in Colorado, which raised a lot of upper eyebrows because they came out and said, well, it's not sanctioned. And again, I'm not an attorney, so I don't pretend to know the laws. But it seems to me that if you have a private event, you got approval from your municipality, and you don't need to be sanctioned by your governing body because it's a private event. Now, again, I'm not here to interpret law. What I'm saying is that at some point you got to say what governance is able and has the right to respond and oversee. If it's sanctioned, that means it leads to a national championship or a competition of hierarchy within a union or whatever. But this was just a bunch of people who got together to play in a friendly private tournament. So you got to ask yourself, at what point does governance have to get involved, or do they get involved? And more importantly is that the ambiguity that surrounds it is probably as much confusing, because the people who were there were absolutely smile after smile and so happy to be able to actually go out and play again. And again, this has all been going on for all of us for 6+ months. And some of these people haven't played because it was wintertime, so they hadn't even played at that time. But the point is that at what time do you say, let's let people be adults and make their own decisions? And those who didn't want to show up decided they weren't going to show up because they want to take that perceived risk. So it's basically a bunch of adult decisions, whether they're going to go play a game or go to a restaurant together, or whether they're going to go to a house, play poker. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that politics is, while we know it plays everything we do, it's gone beyond what where it should be playing.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see. The one thing that I didn't love to see over the weekend from what you guys were doing was that tackle where the guy got knocked out. That didn't look particularly healthy.
Well, he actually didn't get knocked out. He got a stinger in his head. He was a friendly fire. If you watch the video, his head comes in contact with the shoulder of the other tackler. The doctor watched him afterwards. There was actually a doctor on site. I even talked to him. He did all the concussion protocol. He never played the rest of the day, but he was, I'm going to say, fine, for whatever it is. But it was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm really glad, because it didn't look good on the video, and he did just get himself in exactly the wrong place and folded over backwards. So I'm really, really glad that he.
Yeah, I mean, he just got trampled over, didn't he? I mean, what a freaking hit that guy gave him, right?
Yeah, he actually got hit. His body position wasn't the best, obviously, and he actually came in contact with his fellow tackler. He never even made contact with the ball carrier. Probably weighed 100 to 110 kilos for sure, and maybe 5'8", 5'9". He's a solid little fella. I mean, young guy, but he just bad body position.
I've got to say, Phil, I think that the grass on the pitch did more tackling than anybody else. Did you see how long it was in that video?
I also saw how long it was in person. So here's what happened was the 3 days prior to the tournament, it poured. It rained up there. And the day the tournament started, it wasn't dry enough for them to mow. So unlike the people who are experts in mowing grass in the UK, the people in the United States are not necessarily experts in mowing grass in the wet environment. So they would rather not do it. So it actually slowed the game down considerably. And it was
Can I
pretty.
suggest something very quickly? You said he was about like 5'8", 5'9", 110 kilos. That's fucking my size, that is.
He was a solid. He was a Polynesian lad too. So he's broad boy, and we talked to him.
Yeah, that's Mike.
Chris, he's at least 3 times as wide as you were.
I'm not saying that Mike's fucking built. I'm just saying he's a fat prick.
No, not really. Not really.
Oh, he is. Trust me, mate, he is.
You may not know what.
That's the last time I take you for fucking dinner on the Friday night, you wanker.
Well, yeah, when you have a garlic bread on a pizza to yourself, it's got to go somewhere, hasn't it?
And who couldn't even finish 2 Budweisers on Friday night?
Because
You
I had
fucking
training.
lightweight. You fucking lightweight. You fucking lightweight. This is staying in the show. You fucking lightweight.
I finished it off.
Anyway, right. On the subject of Chris being the lightweight, it's time to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more of this shit right after this. When you need clear and concise Match Official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios are always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all 3 of us can be open at any time and we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into Match Official development worldwide. Welcome back to part 2 of the 22 Dropouts.
Oh man, my nuts are sweaty. Fucking hell.
Now, you notice that only a jock can say live on TV, my nuts are sweaty. Never mind interrupting anybody else, my nuts are sweaty. And you wonder why we call them the sweaties. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Anyway, welcome back to part 2 of this week's 22 Dropouts. We are the only YouTube and YouTube show. Shut up. We are the only YouTube show and podcast that you ever need about rugby, because we're the only ones that have carried on regardless, and we are in week number 24. It seems like 25, whatever the fuck it is. It seems like 4 years.
And you wonder why
This
people scorecards after a game.
This is episode 24. We, as a group, have been going for just over 25
stop being
weeks.
pedantic. It's called a frickin' flask.
What?
Christopher.
What?
I mean, his lighting only exemplifies his beautiful haircut.
Oh my god! It's like you just read my mind, bro. Oh, sweet.
Cheers, fellas.
I said that earlier, didn't I? I was like, oh, honestly, Chris, fucking hell, I'm
Do you know what it is,
surprised.
Sam? Do you know what it is, Sam? It's because that dickhead didn't do it for once.
Oh, I swear, honestly, I'm surprised Tom's not fucking chapping on your door right now. But
No, he's busy watching. He's busy watching a friend of the show, Carl Dixon. Carl, because I know you're going to watch this. We're just going to have a quick clip of what you're doing at 2028 tonight. Take a look at this.
Do we all have to look over that way now?
well, I'll go to the side, do we? Yeah.
You see what I did there?
Clock in the red. And Johnny May chasing after this one, but it will be in vain as it drifts into touch.
All look that way. Have you noticed how they're all looking that way?
It's okay, Phil, you can come back to us.
No, so I am going to do a real one now, because that's just a bit of a funny one. You ready?
Oh my god, honestly, you wonder why we don't get shit done within 2 fucking sessions.
I was going to say.
And then you
Anything for yourself.
Have you heard just how these two complain when you take the piss out of them? Just watch last week's show and see how much piss I got ripped out of me by our guests.
Oh, well,
you three, look that way. Are you ready? Look that way.
I'm making it back.
I'm being serious now. Sam. Well, I don't know what Tom's on about. I thought he had a great game. What did you think, boys?
I couldn't tell you, Michael. I'm not watching it.
Don't know. I haven't seen the footage yet.
Listen, we are 24 or 25 weeks old, depending on what you want to say. My camera's just fallen off the top of my computer, so I'm going to put it down. So we are 24 or 25 weeks old, depending on what you want to say. And guess what? Guess who our special guest is for tonight? Yeah, you guessed it. Nobody.
Yay!
Peter, yay! It is just us four having a great time. Because guess what? Peter has broken the internet again in Ireland. So Pete Bracken was supposed to join us to finish where he left off, and his internet is a bit shit, as it always is in Ireland at the moment, and he can't make it. But guys, I have got some news for you, and this is dead serious now. Okay, so pay attention.
Just before you do, because it will like totally fit into it, right? Because you're talking about cam stuff. Chris, is your new webcam like allergic to you or something? Because you've been looking at the floor all freaking night, you dumbass.
Just bored of you lot.
Oh, no, that's because he's texting a girl or a boy. I don't know.
Go on then. Who's the bird?
Bye, Jim. Have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye bye.
Good stuff.
What a little wanker.
Oh shit! He didn't actually leave then. Fuck! I thought he'd actually left.
But it was quite funny. It was quite funny. Right, listen. Guess who we've got on the show next week? You won't believe this.
Is it Mike Mulroy?
I might be if I can be bothered.
Paolo.
Like Tom.
Paolo.
No, I've not got Paolo. Although we'll get Paolo on. He just keeps forgetting to reply.
Roy Monk.
No, Roy Monk. We've got more chance of platting Pitt than him turning up on a fucking show.
Okay, is he in our realms famous or is he pro?
He's mate. This guy is very, very, very famous.
Current or former player?
Former, but not in rugby.
Oh, what sport?
Cricket.
Oh well, that's it. I don't want to. I'm not coming next week.
Cricket.
I'm not coming next week. It's cricket.
Have you ever heard of a player called Nasser Hussain?
I have.
That's that wee guy that throws balls really fast, isn't it?
Not the Nasser Hussain.
The Nasser Hussain is
Oh my gosh.
on the show.
I need to book that right now. What time is that coming on, Mike?
It's on it. Well, we record it at 7:30 on Monday. But, dear listener, do not miss this. It's out a week on Friday on YouTube at 6 p.m. UK time. Don't miss it.
You heard it here first. You heard
Hashtag.
This Hussein guy, Nasser Hussain guy, he's the guy that likes to hold little red hard balls and throw them really fast, right?
Sam, you just ruined the show for him. Now, guys, listen. In all seriousness, No. In all seriousness, I need you to do some research this week. This guy is a superhero.
In cricket.
How many times has he played for England?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, okay. I thought you liked cricket.
I like cricket. I'm not a fucking cricket nose.
Oh, mate, I'm not a cricket man at all.
I'm barely a rugby nose. Never mind fucking cricket.
So, listen. I want you to
who thought of a game where you have to throw? Who thought of a game where you have to throw a little red hard ball at fucking 3 sticks?
Chris,
you know what I mean?
you've got Chris. You've got to get Tom as well to do a lot of research. I want you all to come up with at least 3 top quality questions from what you're saying that are going to blow his mind. I have had. No, seriously, he's confirmed it on Friday that he's on next week's show.
I'll come up with 3 solid questions.
But get right, guys. Listen, because he's in India at the moment and he's stuck over there, we are starting to record the show a bit earlier next week.
You know that next Monday's a public holiday in Malta. That'll be fun.
You've not got, mate. Have you got another fucking festival?
Is it a holiday? Hey Sam, is it a holiday today?
No, this is just like me relaxing after a really long day. And what a better way to do it than have a chat with your mates over freaking Zoom.
Aye.
Where's your mask?
Where's my mask? It's in the car, mate. It's in the car. Actually, the second one's on the chopping block, of course. Yeah.
Dad, I'm not gonna lie. It just does look like it says vegan strong.
I know. I keep telling everybody this.
Because you
It
can't
looks like
read.
it's vegan strong.
Don't listen, Phil. Don't listen to them, mate. It's just because they're English. They just can't fucking read.
I hear you.
Honestly.
I actually can read and says Vegas strong.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's easy enough to read.
You have to do a double take. You're like vegan. Oh, vegan.
How does a double take go, Chris? I thought, Christ, that was a good one, mate. I thought you had a stutter for a minute or something.
Do it again.
Make your cheeks wobble when you do it. There you go. No, that's the wrong sound.
Anyway, listen. This is a rugby show, so I think we in about the how long have we got left? We've got less than 15 minutes left. So let's
We're
talk
talking
a bit
about
about
rugby?
rugby.
We are?
No, Phil.
I haven't
No.
got to the point in last week's show. Did you mention Owen Farrell's freaking 5-week ridiculous ban?
No.
Okay, Sam.
We took bets on that.
Sam, talk about
Yeah.
Owen Farrell's ban.
How fucking disgraceful was Owen's 5-week ban, by the way? Seriously, that's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Right, I'm
It
serious.
was 10 weeks.
Is he because he's like England's pretty boy or something like that? Or because he's got something to do with the Lions? Or because the RFU is freaking shite?
It was
Have
10
you,
weeks.
have you read the judgment that I sent out?
Yeah, I did, and I thought honestly, it's absolutely disgraceful that he got that not down to 5 weeks. What an absolute piss take! How many times has he fucking taken someone's head off before something gets done? That kid could have been fucking lost his career out of that.
Well, he's out for the season. The rest of the season, Atkinson
Yeah,
will not.
they've sat him out, and they've sat him out, haven't they?
Yeah, for the rest of the season. That's not it. You know,
That's
maybe we
absolutely
should go.
freaking disgraceful. I'm sorry, it is. It's
Maybe we should
shocking.
say, if that guy is out for a season because of what you've done, then
He should be out for a
you're
season.
out for as long as he is.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no.
absolutely-
I actually disagree with that, Mike. The consequence has to be greater than the action.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well.
It has
Yeah.
to be. Otherwise,
Yeah, of course it does.
it's tit for tat.
Trust in Americans
Can't
if
be
I can come up with
less
anything to say in it. Honestly.
If the guy is injured and cannot play for 8 weeks, the guy should not be banned for 5 weeks, should he?
No,
Surely
he
that's
should.
wrong.
Yeah. Was it 5 weeks or 5 weeks? Isn't that 5 matches? Isn't it? It's 5 weeks.
No,
Yeah, it's
five meaningful games.
So it's 5 games then.
Yes, because we got
That's
this. It's only because we got these midweek games.
So they could
Yeah,
easily
Charlie
turn around and say,
Atkinson is not
like
gonna
within
play.
2 weeks, so, and literally within sort of 2.5 weeks, he could have just like done his ban then. That's absolutely disgraceful for what he did.
So, just to give you an example, this week Saracens are playing this coming week. As this comes out, it'll be the same weekend because they've got the European game. Wasps do not have a European game because of where they finished last year. So Charlie Atkinson couldn't have played at that point. So where do you take the meaningful games? And this is a real debate and a real dichotomy, I think, between rugby and the disciplinary process. And I think we've almost gone down the line, as some commentators have said in the press this week, that we've taken the decision-making process away from the judiciary, and we have put so many guidelines in place that they can only follow them, and they cannot do anything else. So they had to. I mean, personally, there is absolutely no way I would have started that one at 10 weeks. It started high, it finished high. There was, there's no mitigation at all. That should be 16 weeks to start with, in my book, and then we mitigate down from there.
What did he get it mitigated down for again?
Because the last time he had a ban like this was, I think, about 2.5 years ago. So now, again, this is a thing that's come up if you read Rugby Pass and the Rugby Press over the week. This is another thing that's come up is, yes, he's had a ban for a similar tackle in the past? How far away in the past does it become avoidable?
Legible or not?
Yeah. Do you go, we're not going to take that into consideration? That is a grey area, and that's a grey area as far as I'm concerned that the judiciary panel needs to have complete and utter control over.
You know what? You can go another way with this, though. I think, Mike, right? So you know how the disciplinary power take into good behaviour and all that sort of stuff. Now we all know, right, that if a player's been red carded in the game, that if that player shows remorse afterwards by coming to apologise and all the rest of it, that gets written in your report. All the players know that if you do that, you get like a little bit better on the disciplinary panel. We all know that's the case, right? And players use it. We're not stupid,
of course,
right? So I think genuinely that the disciplinary panel should base everything on what's actually happened. Nothing previous, nothing before, anything like that. It is an absolutely shocking, disgraceful tackle. It's not even a tackle. It's a freaking headshot. Right? It's nothing else. It's not even a tackle because it wasn't a tackle. Can't define that as one. The guy took his head off, right? And that's as simple as that. So in reality, that is completely and utterly disgraceful and needs to be completely taken out of the game. And giving a guy 5 weeks at his level is just not good enough. Period.
It's sort
if World Rugby want this stamped out, they need to nail that on the head.
It asks the question, doesn't it? What standard are we setting?
And for who?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, okay, Eddie Jones spoke up for him. I don't want to be overcritical here, but in all honesty, Eddie Jones is not the coach of Saracens.
No, it's not.
The charity that he supports stood up for him. What's that got to do with rugby? He can support a charity. In fact, he could probably support a charity more while he's banned from playing. He can go and work for them for a bit as part of his punishment.
No, I personally think you don't take previous into account and you judge it based on that, good or bad, and just nail it. You've got to take that out of the game completely. And there's no way you're going to take that out of the game by giving someone a 5-week ban for that. Because guess what? Someone that's down at their local club playing freaking second division does the same damn thing. Well, I'm expecting 5 weeks at a total of that. That's what I should get.
And that guy will probably get 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the standards then?
No, the game is the game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, what's it like over in the States in terms of disciplinary like this? How does that work?
Well, let me just put it this way. If I was a defense counsel, I would like to use Farrell's defense attorney to make my
argument. Now, if you ever get caught speeding, not that you would, because Phil, you've never broken the speed limit in the USA, have you?
No, you can't do that.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Not in the last 45 minutes.
You know,
unless you went to a pee break.
we started having this discussion last week. We all saw the video, and we all put out our numbers on where we thought it would be. And I put mine out there at 10 to 12 weeks. That was prior to the knowledge that the impacted player, the ball carrier, is basically out of the season. I don't think that again, I said it about 5 or 7 minutes ago, the punishment has to be greater than the reward.
Yeah.
And like theoretically, the consequence, we can't just think about banning. There's got to be a financial consequence as well. I think that there's a guilt by association consequence, like the club has got to take responsibility as well. And probably the governance, because it's a sham from a disciplinary committee how you can go out and justify literally taking somebody's head off and basically a low entry point on a tackle, dangerous tackle. That's an embarrassment.
No, and if you are going to take previous history into account, and they took into account the fact that he's not been red carded for a couple of years on anything like that, and he showed remorse and things. Surely to God, if you are going to take that into account, you should also take into account the amount of times he's been penalised and yellow carded for similar tackles. Because they surely have an effect.
Yeah.
Was he asked the question, why did you attempt to make the tackle the way you did? Was he asked that question? So that would be the first question. You tell me what you went through in your decision-making process that justified you making the tackle and almost ripping somebody's head off, or potentially torquing his neck and causing a paralysis or something like that. That's an egregious attempt. To me, there's no way you can validate and justify it. The remote is the only aspect in which I can see if he came over to him afterwards and was really trying to help and whatever the case is, fair enough. You can bring that down to mitigation. But I didn't even see that. Did he do it?
Yeah.
Did he come over? Was he remorseful immediately afterwards?
Yeah, he was.
He did. That goes back to what I was saying to start with, though.
Even before Christopher showing the red card, like as he was getting up, like he turned to Christopher and went, "I know that's bad, and that's really bad. I'm really sorry."
Yeah, but again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Players know that if they're remorseful and if they show, they know that they know it comes into the report.
It shouldn't.
I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he wasn't remorseful or anything like that, because I'm sure after a minute like that, you kind of have to be, because he knew what he'd done wasn't right. At what point you still did it? You didn't change the height. You didn't do anything. You just clobbered the guy. He didn't slow down. He knew that he caught the guy in the blind side. In all fairness, if it had been 5 to 10 inches lower, that would have been an absolutely outstanding tackle hit. Absolutely outstanding. But completely and utterly got it wrong.
But it wasn't.
Absolutely wrong.
We can't talk about the ifs and the buts. At the end of the day,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't that.
It was those 10 inches higher, and he did take the guy's head off.
I know, and that's the thing. There's like loads of people on social media going, "Oh, but if that had been fine, yeah, but it wasn't." So we don't.
Yeah, it wasn't. No.
If I could carry this discussion on one further, have professional rugby with professional cameramen caught on camera, justified through a judicial system. Think about it from a club rugby standpoint. Mike, you were asking the question is, from a disciplinary component in the United States or whatever, we're not going to have cameras. We'd be lucky if somebody happened to catch it on a video on a cell phone or something like that. Even then, it has to be the right angle, and you certainly won't have 4 angles for it. So the likelihood of a referee getting the call right, although, it was pretty obvious to get it right in this situation. But even then, taking that to a disciplinary committee anywhere without
Phil's on a stuffer.
It's going to come out to the point where it's probably going to be.
And he's gone.
Am I lagging?
Yeah, just a bit. Do you want to try that again, Phil?
Yeah, so what I was getting at was is that if that was club rugby, where you don't have professional cameramen, you don't have video review, you don't have 3 potentially professional referees on the field at any given time, you're depending on one referee, and his rule of judgment is the one who's going to go before a disciplinary committee. I can see a 5-week ban coming out of it on a local component because there's nothing that supports the evidentiary side of things. It's just word.
Yeah.
But here you have 3 referees, professional video, and your adjudication is down at a 5-week ban. I think that's where the abomination comes in.
I do think this is one of those things that's going to run, and it's blighted Owen Farrell's career, the way he tackles or the way he can tackle.
That could potentially lose him the Lions captaincy.
I don't last week too.
I don't think it will. I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. I don't think it will just simply because that nobody's taken this bloody tackle seriously. They've given him a 5 meaningful game ban and said, "On you go, son." And people like Eddie Jones have spoken up for him to get that ban reduced to as little as it possibly can. And nobody's gone, "Seriously, dude, you could have fucking killed somebody there." They've all gone, "Oh, bless you." And that's why he'll do whatever he wants to do. He'll still play and tackle the way he wants to play and tackle. He'll still get whatever he wants to because nobody dares to say, "You are wrong." Well, clearly, this is one of those things that's going to run and run. But we've run out of time tonight. It is a bit of a shorter show tonight. That's not a bad thing for you guys out there and also for us. So we'd like to bid you good night. So from me and from my gang of 22, or the few that are left on them, it's a really good night from us. And we'll see you next week with our special guest, Nasser Hussain. We'll see you then. Take care.